Attachment is not formed in sexual relationships at all. It's formed typically with our mother and father, and it's formed with our siblings, and it's formed with our family. And it extends into sexual romantic relationships. It extends into friendships. But attachment is really formed through our interactions with human beings. And when they care about us, when they actually do attend to us, when it's not fake, when they are listening, when we can be honest, when we can be scared and they help, when all of those things form, I have found more secure attachment in some very extreme environments and less secure attachment in honestly much more traditional environments. I don't even know that it is the environment itself that really fosters, or rather, that really preserves attachment. I don't think that you can look at a scenario and say, oh, that's secure attachment just from the outside. You have to look at the interactions of the humans within that system. And some of the most extreme systems will shock you.
So how did your relationship change after you left the adult industry, Candace? I'm very curious. How did you guys move towards the family scene? What did you sense? How did it impact your conversations? How did it affect your connection? What changed really for you two as a couple?
Oh my goodness. That was such a wild time in my life and also within my marriage. We were going through a really rough spot when I got out, which is kind of ironic because people would probably assume that while I was in it was going to be when all the chaos was, but it was more when I got out. And I think that I kind of touched on it earlier when I was telling the story, like you can do things with integrity and in alignment, and you can do that exact same thing out of alignment without integrity. So it's kind of the energy going into the thing. And when I got out, I realized that I really had trouble with real intimacy. I know, shocker. It's so easy when you're like getting hit with like you're in your 20s and you're traveling and you're making all this money and you're getting recognized everywhere and everything is just picturesque, and then all of a sudden, because I live in North Carolina, so I stop traveling, I'm home, and really what you're left with is just life, regular life. And when the cameras aren't there, like it's very easy for me to like put on a performance and kind of get into this flow state where I just am existing, right? I'm not in my head. When it's you and one person and you don't have all these distractions, that can be overwhelming. It can be really overwhelming. And reestablishing connection and deep intimacy and like deep love, it was something I had to work on. And my attachment style was definitely avoidant. So if something was to go wrong, I would turn into an ice queen. I would give him the cold shoulder. I'd be, dismissive, all of these things that are not conducive to a healthy relationship. And I think it got to a point where both of us were like, we need to either figure this out, like truly heal the problems within the relationship, or we need to go our separate ways. And this is before kids. So I went to this biofeedback training called Biocybernaut, and I truly think it changed my life. And what they do is they have different brainwave trainings. We went for alpha 1 was the first time that we went, so it helps you get into an alpha state, a flow state. But his process of doing this requires like a lot of meditation on forgiveness, and he has this whole protocol, and you go through everyone that you've ever had a touch point with, and you have to get to love and acceptance. And for some people that is, it seems impossible. You're like, you don't know what they did, and you have this righteous anger or indignation towards this person, and he really challenges you to get to love with the worst thing that's ever happened to you, with the worst person you've ever come across. And through that unburdening of like, I had so much baggage I was holding on to from like everyone that had ever done something to me. And then that was kind of bubbling up into my relationship and creating this shell, this place where I felt like I had to constantly protect myself. I couldn't be vulnerable and let someone in, because then that meant that now I'm able to get hurt and I can get left. Where if I'm a little bit on the outside, I still have this false sense of control over the situation. So we did that training for a week. They were like 16-hour days. It was immensely intense. I leave the training and it kind of sets me off on this trajectory of personal development, spirituality, and I meet this shaman and we start working together. We're doing meditations weekly, and within a couple of weeks of working with him and leaving Biocybernaut, we get pregnant with my first baby. And I was, again, told I couldn't do it. But I just felt, I don't know, it was like intuition. Everything after that, I've been trying to like really own in and get a lot of clarity when it kind of pings up and what to pay attention to and not. And for some reason, I was like, I think I'm going to be able to have a baby. I really have to do the work. I have to do the emotional, spiritual work, because from just a biological level, my doctor literally said it doesn't make sense. He had no idea how I got pregnant once or twice. It just did not make sense. My chances were zero. And the things that I attribute it to, honestly, it's that brain training and it's my spiritual development. I feel like those things manifest in your body and you can create these energetic blocks. And it might sound woo-woo to people, but I mean, I really don't care, because for me, the proof is there. I've got 2 beautiful babies and modern medicine has no idea how that happened.
If you like this clip, I know you're going to enjoy the full episode. You can watch it right here.